Hey, welcome back guys. Again, Jason Campbell here with ZimbrickAudi. Today I wanted to show off the new 2020 A6 Allroad that we just got in. It recently came back to the States here after a long hiatus, about 15 years or so. And this is the 2020 model. Let's do a quick walk around first and then we'll get inside and look at some of the interior features and then we'll go for a quick test drive. So right off the bat, I want to mention the A6 Allroad comes with adaptive air suspension. So you have the ability to raise and lower it anywhere from about 5 inches all the way up to about 7.5 inches or so, depending on what mode you're in, where you're driving. If you're doing some shoe off-road, you can really raise that suspension up. It makes it a nice soft ride as well. Some of they brought back some of the old features that we saw on the Allroad, such as the single framed grill here, the accent colors on the front, the grill, the side, over the wheel wells, kept it true to that all-road nature with the accent colors that set it apart from its brother and sister, just the A6 there. And then of course it has the elongated rear end, so it is a wagon at heart. When the back is open, there's an automatic privacy shield that raises and lowers here. And then there are some levers in the back that will adjust the seats. So whether you're in the middle row there or the back, you can flip those back seats up and down. When the back seats are down, there's a tremendous amount of storage. It opens up the cabin immensely. You can fit, probably 6 or 8 suitcases back here, a couple flat screen TVs. So there's no shortage of space. Also, nice touch, and we'll look at this again when we get inside, but there's 2 different sunroofs. So it opens up the cabin, lets a lot of light through, whether you're in the front or the back. Both are adjustable. Go ahead and close this up. Let me turn it on for a second. I want to show you guys the new Matrix LED headlights. Both the tail lights as well as the headlights. I'm going to turn the turn signal on for you because I think this is pretty cool. So you have your dynamic turn signals that go left to right or right to left, depending on which way you're turning. And then the lights below here, these are the Matrix new HD design lights. They're I think it's about 10,000 times as thin as a human hair. So there's a lot of cool lighting technologies that are coming out based on this new lighting design. And let's take a look at the front. See if the camera captures those well. There is the auto brights, on-off brights. So this feature I've found is tremendously helpful. You don't have to worry about blinding cars coming on. So as soon as your car senses that there's any oncoming lights, then it will shut off the brights. But then as soon as that car passes you, it turns those brights back on, so it keeps the road nice and illuminated for you. Let's take a peek inside, go for a quick test drive. All right, welcome to the interior. So you'll see a lot of the same design elements that are consistent with the A6, A7, A8, also the Q8 and e-tron with this new technology package. So the virtual cockpit here in front of the steering wheel, this comes standard in the A6 Allroad, as well as the dual touchscreen here. So this that we're sitting in is actually the base model this year. So they call it a Premium Plus, but it comes standard with adaptive air suspension. It's a V6 turbo, virtual cockpit standard, 2 touch screens in the center here standard. Now, Similar to some other videos, this bottom screen here just controls all your climate, comfort controls, your heated seats, your ventilated seats. You can even control the rear from the front, heated steering wheel. Then this top screen is going to do everything else. You're going to have your navigation there, settings, trip computer, phone apps, wireless CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. So similar to the other videos we've done with the S7, with the e-tron, this is going to be that same design element. So Audi's rolling out this new touchscreen technology package, and it's extremely well received. You know, some people criticize the touchscreens, but I think they've done an awesome job with this. Even fingerprints aren't too bad, especially when the screens are on. You don't really see any fingerprints, so a lot of those concerns. Let me try to turn one off here. I mean, I've been touching this screen all morning, and there's really not even any fingerprints. They've done a nice job with that. I mean, yes, they exist, but it's not transparent. To me, it doesn't take away from the driving experience in any way. Let's get out on the road here. So again, this is what they call the Premium Plus, the standard trim level. You can optionally get the Prestige, which is going to give you some additional features and functions, such as the head-up display, dual pane glass, keep the cabin a little bit quieter. Now, a lane assist comes standard, so you can either have that feature on or off and set how sensitive that is. There's Kenny, our parts guy. But you can also add on driver's assistance. So the adaptive cruise control, where your car will keep you in the flow of traffic. Traffic jam assist. Now, your car won't stop at red lights unless there's a car in front of you. Same thing with stop signs. Otherwise, with the driver assistance adaptive cruise control on, your car will keep you right in the pace of traffic. If there's nobody in front of you, it will default to whatever you have your cruise control set at. But, you know, city driving, highway driving, there's generally a slow poke in front of you anyway, so your car just keeps a nice pace behind it. You can even set how close you trail the car ahead of you. There's a couple different settings if you don't mind your cruise control tailgating people, or if you do want some more space, you can adjust it, you know, several car lengths out. It's a function of your speed, so depending on how fast you're going, it'll leave more or less space. This is a very nice ride right off the bat. Let's see what mode we're in. There's a drive select button down here, and when you press that button, you can see on the top it's actually changing the driving mode. So there's off-road, all-road, comfort, automatic, dynamic. Dynamic's going to be your sportiest mode. You can see over here it's actually lowering our car a little bit down to the ground there. It's going to tighten or stiffen up the suspension, tighten up the steering, more reactive. If you're in comfort mode, it's going to be kind of the opposite of that. Your suspension will be a lot softer, your steering won't be as reactive, acceleration and torque response not quite as aggressive, so more for that highway driving experience if you're trying to have more of that pillow-like ride. What I think is kind of cool though is you can actually you can build your own mode. This is what's called the individual mode. So if you go into individual, let me back up a screen here, go to drive select, and then I can pick individual. Click on the pencil there, I can build my own mode. So I could have the drive be sporty, whereas maybe I want a comfortable suspension, nice soft ride, and balanced steering. That's perfect. So depending on what type of driver you are or how you're feeling that day, you can go in there and kind of customize the ride. But all in all, let's go back to dynamic, because I like racing around everywhere. You can see I'm not really touching the wheel too much, and it's you know, making big changes in the turn radius. I'm doing just about a half of an inch, and it's moving me all the way across the road. virtual cockpit, I just can't say enough good things about it. Right now I have the navigation screen there, but if I wanted to, I could make my dials bigger or smaller by pressing this view button on the steering wheel. Similarly, I can change what information is there. So trip computer, I can have my radio, Sirius satellite. I don't have my phone hooked up right now, but you can hook up your phone. You can also change this from a standard to 2D, stock on navigation to a satellite imagery partnered with Google Street View. So you can actually see the actual satellite imagery of the roads you're driving on, which is a really nice touch. Let's hit an on-ramp here and see how the acceleration handles. And 70, just like that, 75. So I think the 0 to 60 in this is just over 5 seconds. When the car was debuted, they thought it might be just under 5, but I think the way that it's spec'd out, it's a little bit over 5, 5.1, 5.2 seconds. Quicker than you need. A lot of people are concerned about the 0 to 60. I think that the 60 to 0 is more important in how fast these cars can stop, which is also, we won't do it. Don't want to wreck the tires or slide, but yeah, the brakes on these are top notch. Let's pass these guys here. The road noise is pretty quiet. Right now I am in dynamic, so the engine is the loudest it will be. The suspension is the tightest it will be, so this is the most aggressive, loudest mode that we'll be in, and can't really hear cars passing us. There's a slight, I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's a slight sound when an oncoming car passes, but for the most part it's pretty quiet in here. Of course you can hear the road a little bit, but not much. If you do get the top trim level, the Prestige, that will give you a thicker dual pane glass, so it'll keep the cabin even quieter. The A6 Allroad also comes standard with the Bang & Olufsen German sound system. I won't turn it up here too loud, but it's a pretty incredible system. Right now everything's just on baseline. We just got this car in, but it has a dedicated subwoofer, treble bass. Turn the subwoofer way up. It's all touchscreen here. It's pretty cool. You can change the focus from all, front or rear. On mine, I have the surround level way up. It gives you more of that concert acoustic vibe, more immersive sound. So that, also playing around with this 3D effect mode. So this Bang & Olufsen, people call it B&O sound system. It's what's been in German cars. It's been around forever. It's one of the oldest companies. They've been making sound systems back when they were records, and it's still regarded as one of the best in the world. So comes standard here in the A6 Allroad 2020. Pulling in here to our new location. We're at the corner of Rimrock and Badger, right across the street from Mercedes there. For many years we were tucked behind Mercedes next to Porsche, so it's nice that we have our own dedicated lot here. You can see all of our inventory. And here's our brand new building to the right. A lot more space. On our immediate right here, we have 3 dedicated delivery bays. It looks like there's someone getting ready to take home their new Q7 in there right now. A lot more customer parking, which some of you can appreciate if you've been to our old facility. Anytime in the last couple of years, it's just been chaos trying to find parking spots, not only for inventory, but for customers as well. And then right here on the left-hand side of our building is our service drive. So if you're ever in for service, this is where you'll come, you'll pull up right here. and then the doors do open automatically. I'll show you one last cool feature. These cameras. So the Allroad comes standard with the top-down camera, meaning that there are cameras all around the car, in the front, the back, under both of the steering, or under both of the mirrors. So you have the ability here to look all the way around the car. If you turn your turn signal on or lights, you can actually see it turn on here in the graphic, which I think is kind of cool. You can zoom in, zoom out. This is extremely helpful for if you're parking, you know, parallel parking, pulling into a parking spot, see how close you are to either curb, cars in front of you, behind you. On the right here, you can click on the graphic and it'll show you that camera view. So if you want to look at the back or if you want to look at the front, you can just click on this graphic. Otherwise, you can see how close you are to anything around you. And then similarly down here, there's just a bunch of different camera angles you can choose from: wide angle, lenses, front, back. These are the two mirrors. But if you're like me and have trouble parking, this is gold. And they've done a nice job with the graphic here. This looks exactly like the car. I think that's a good place to end. Just like the other, you know, the A6, A7, and A8, there's a wireless phone charger down here. Wireless Apple CarPlay again, Android Auto. So if you didn't want to plug your phone in, you still get those great features. You can, you know, put your phone right down here on the wire, on the charging pad. It'll charge for you. And come in and see me. Come check this out. Again, this is the first one we got in. Just came out here after about 15 years. Hiatus in the US, they brought it back. Audi also announced that they're bringing back the RS6 Avant, which is going to be like the supercharged, absurd, extremely powerful, you know, sport wagon, similar to the A6 Allroad here. It's going to have a similar look. It's going to ride a lot lower, bigger engine. So expect that coming. We'll probably see that in the next year or so. They just announced it. So we never really get any cool cars here in America. So that'll be, well, it's nice to see the Allroad back to begin with. And then building on that, the RS6 Avant is going to be incredible. So come check it out. We also have the new A4 Allroad in, and we're starting to get the new A4s, the 2020 A4s in, where they move to a bigger center screen that is touchscreen. So similar body style to the A4s, to the 2019 A4, but it's going to be touchscreen. So that's kind of where the brand is going, where the technology is going, and you should come in and check it out for yourself. Again, thanks for tuning in. My name is Jason Campbell. I'm here with ZimbrickAudi, and hope to catch you soon. See ya.